Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing, Andy? You all right, mate?
Yeah, not bad, man. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to Club Star Wars, everybody who's watching on the YouTube and the Facebooks and the Twitters, wherever you are in the world. And here we go for another chat about the Indiana Jones movie and
Yeah.
a little bit of Star Wars news to follow that as well. So yeah, there's a little bit of news out there and a little bit of drama that's been happening online around Indy 5
On the Twitter sphere.
on Twitter.
On
Yeah, let's
Twitter,
face it.
as we
Yeah.
call it, yeah.
Yeah,
Just another platform for people to spout shit onto.
exactly.
And that's why we
Have
like it. Hello, Brian.
Hello there, Brian. Good to see you, mates.
How's it going? Hope you are well.
Hope you are well. Yes. So I did tune into a little bit of Mr. Brown's YouTube show the other day, and they were talking about a little bit of drama, which we can touch on too.
Okay.
So
Is it Mr. Brown Alliance YouTube channel?
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's right. So yeah, so Brian, if you ever want to jump in on our channel, you're more than welcome. Now you've got a decent microphone, man. I heard you. It's pretty cool. You've got a
Yeah, he's gonna have to jump on.
yeah. If you're up for the task, mate, you're up for the task. You don't have to. But
quizzes on Star Wars or something.
Quizzes on yeah. I know who will win.
the one who has the no life. I just retain the most stupid of information with Star Wars. I'm like,
sometimes I do surprise myself. Sometimes I surprise me. I think, how did I know that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Paddy's a freak with the dialogue. He remembers the dialogue really well.
He's got the scripts down to the T, really.
Especially Empire Strikes Back. There's even bits of that where I'm like, is that what they're saying? He's like, yes, that's what they say. It'll save me time.
Brian says,
yes.
Yeah. It will, mate. It will. Yeah. So we're going to get into a little bit about what you guys are talking about on the Mr. Brown's Alliance. When it came to the Twitter, what could you call it? Spat between.
It sounded like a spat, yeah.
Yeah. It was almost like it did remind me of the Rian Johnson Twitter spat he had with the fans a little bit, where with the old man baby thing, and I didn't get involved with.
He had a few, but Rian Johnson had a few of those interactions, didn't he?
Which lasted over time, and Mangold's wasn't just one tweet either. He kind of went on for a while. I think he. I did recommend to him via a tweet, which he probably ignored completely. But I said, just put your phone down. It's like, put your phone down. It's not a good look.
I'd go dark if I was working on something like, especially a property like Indiana Jones, because it has all its baggage with the fans and people's expectations, and just the general morons on Twitter. They're gonna be there.
Exactly. And
the thing is, when you work in.
Sorry, Andy.
I say when you I'm upset. I was just about to say this, like I've worked on massive properties, but if you're working on something like that and people are already criticizing you, your blood would boil. I totally get it, but that's
especially when they know nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
nothing. A few photographs have been leaked.
Yeah,
and that's it. And the rest is speculation. And I'm not here to have a go at Matthew Kadish, who put the tweet out.
Sure,
everybody's entitled to an opinion.
Of course.
Absolutely. But I want to try and
judging a movie before it's come out.
Judging a movie before it's come out, yeah. And I kind of understand from a certain point of view that why he's done it, why he's put this tweet out, and it's because it's Lucasfilm, and fans have been burnt. Certain fans, not everybody, granted, but a lot of fans have been burnt, and it's sort of lashing out saying this is going to be once bitten, twice shy, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
that's what I meant by the baggage. This is a different thing, different entity altogether. If there's an unheard of movie out there, or it's a sequel to, it's done a sequel to The Conjuring, that's not going to get the same reaction as something under the Lucasfilm property.
Yes.
I'm not saying The Conjuring is bad, by the way. It's just something that popped in my head because it's quite new. But people aren't going to be shitting on that film before when it's just been announced.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I nearly said it's just been written, but they're actually shooting it. So I'm assuming, fingers crossed, that the script is finished.
Yeah. You mean Indiana Jones script?
Indiana Jones 5, yeah.
Yeah. I would hazard a guess and say yes, the script was finished a long time ago.
Mm.
Let's get into this tweet and we'll look at these points that Matthew Kadish made.
I love the Justin GIF.
Yeah,
it's a good
disapproving face.
Yeah,
GIF. So I'm just going to put this ticker on what I did earlier. Indie Star Wars and stuff.
I thought you said ticker there. I was like, why is he timing himself? What's he on about?
we're on a time limit.
We're on a timer just for this story. We're only allowed so much airtime to be covered by Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, before you're infected by the anyway.
Yeah, before it rubs off on us.
Yeah. Start going red in the face and anyway. So Matthew Kadish put this out. To anyone thinking Indiana Jones 5, hashtag Indiana Jones 5, might be good, just let me point out. Number 1, Steven Spielberg is not directing. Number 2, Kathleen Kennedy is producing. Number 3, Harrison Ford is 78 years old. And number 4, it is written by Jonathan Kasdan, who wrote Solo. Right. So the reply to that from Mangold was, thanks, Matt. Keep making the world a better place, crapping on things in the first week of production from your basement. Number 2, never seen a script. Never seen a script by John. Nothing against him, just reality. Butterworths and I started from a blank page. Number 3, 1 and 3 are usually talented and all at my side. Which, all right, as a reply, and Adam Lance Garcia tweeted out, this was everything. Thank you for calling out the BS. I really don't like Adam Lance Garcia.
Well,
It's not
complete.
Really hate that guy.
It's not complete bullshit. That's just someone's point of view.
It's somebody's opinion. It's not
However,
bullshit.
for me, it's the way it started. To anyone thinking Indiana Jones might be good, it's like, hang on.
You've not seen it yet.
You're talking about people's opinions that have not formed yet.
Exactly. So,
come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, should we give our little bit of what do you call it? Our 5 cents, if you like.
Of course.
So, number 1, Steven Spielberg is not directing. Now, it's a bit sad that Steven Spielberg isn't directing, but he isn't the only director in the world.
No, he's not.
And Mangold is a proven director. I think most movies he's been involved with, I like. It's
go on. Let's go through them. What are they? The recent ones?
Well, the probably most recent one that springs to my mind is Logan.
Yeah, Logan's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Were you surprised by that? Because I was.
Yes, I was. I
watched it and I was like, oh, I wonder where this story's going to end. Because we knew Logan's Wolverine story was coming to an end, and Hugh Jackman's not going to play him anymore. And I thought, Patrick Stewart's in it. It'll be at least okay, because I do like the X-Men movies, but I was not expecting... Yeah. It's kind of classic in a way. It's just become a classic for me.
Yeah. And I watched it in black and white as well, which I don't know. It just made it...
Is it better?
Yeah. I've not seen it in color at all. I saw it in black and white, and it just made it that little bit more classy, if you like, and
yeah. Well, I've got the 4K set. Is it in that? I think it is, actually. I think you can watch the color or they're both HDR, right?
As far as I know.
Right. Oh, I might check it out in black and white. I'll be honest. I've only seen the movie I think maybe twice.
Yeah.
I'll probably check it out in black and white. But yeah, Steven's not directing. I don't think it's gonna affect
But he
it
did
as
walk
much
away.
as yeah.
And Viking out of time. Hey, Viking out of time.
Hello.
We need to chat. Hell Club Star Wars. So. Howdy doody.
Hail.
Yeah, this is we are supposed to be getting a bit of an alliance together at some point. So
Cool.
I need to get some details.
So Mangold, Logan, what else he done? Did he do Blade Runner? He didn't do 2049, did he?
No.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
Another one of my favorites from him is Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that
one.
movie. No,
Very good.
Is that good?
Very good. Yes, definitely. I had to go and buy the soundtrack after that as well. Absolutely fantastic movie. Copland. That's going back a few years now.
Okay.
That's the one with Sly Stallone, where he put tons of weight on for that movie. Stallone.
Oh, What the Line is it Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen Ford versus Ferrari.
No.
He's a producer of that.
Yeah, I've not seen that. Identity.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I watched that in Australia actually when I moved over there many years ago, back in 2003. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
bit of a twist and turns and stuff. If you like westerns, 3 Sense of Humor was another one of his.
Right. Good track record.
Yeah. I've got all faith in this guy to direct a good Indiana Jones movie.
Sure.
Hey, and I might be wrong at the end of the day, and if I am, I am. But that's my opinion. The fact that Spielberg isn't directing it isn't the be all and end all for me personally. Well,
it doesn't make us lose any optimism, does it?
No. And the reason Spielberg walked away from the project in the first place is we're not 100% sure, are we? But we've got an idea, and it's to do with
Paddy mentioned it.
Yeah.
To quote Stephen, he said, "Oh, what did he say? I'm not going to use toy box
cartoon Nazis.
Cartoon Nazis, yeah. Which is
fair
fair
enough.
There
again, yeah. So because that was part of the script, part of the storyline, and he wasn't comfortable with it.
Yeah,
I can understand him walking away. Given his his background and whatnot.
Of course.
Kathleen Kennedy is producing now. Yeah, to a degree, I agree with Kadish, because again, I agree with Kadish when it comes to certain Star Wars movies, and a lot of the blame and the finger pointing goes to Kathleen Kennedy, and the idea that she has certain agendas which she's pushing into movies, which we won't get into, but fans are a bit edgy about what's she going to do to Indiana Jones, but she's producing, and if you ignore the Disney Star Wars side of things, pretend they didn't happen, I think we could all agree that she's produced some of the best movies ever. She's been part of those movies,
Yeah. Jurassic Park being one of the biggest movies ever. She was the producer of that.
Which is one of my favorite movies, mate. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And I can't ignore the fact that she's.
I don't think Matthew Kadish has got number 2 there because of her career as a producer. I think you called it right. It's people's association with the Disney Star Wars, and people not being happy with that,
which I understand.
Of course, absolutely.
But all this is prejudging the film, isn't it? It's not even out yet.
Absolutely.
It's only in sort of like the early stages of filming,
I must say, Kathleen did produce Rogue One and The Mandalorian. I know The Mandalorian is more Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni's baby, but still, she was attached to them.
Yeah.
I think people are quick to conveniently ignore
Oh,
that.
Matthew Cady's in the chat. Awesome. All the movies you guys like from Kennedy. I'll put this on the thing. So, here we go.
Hi, Matthew.
All the movies you guys like from Kennedy, she was not a creative producer on. She was a logistical producer.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So that's basically, correct us if we get this wrong. She got what Spielberg wanted. Right. So she would have sorted out the money side of things, the actors.
Do you remember last week when I was talking about this? Like the role of the producer changes depending on who it is, what the project is. Like George was the producer on Star Wars, but it was actually Gary Kurtz and all this thing. She did what did he say? She did nothing to contribute to how good the movies were. Well, but that's the reason that I'm not bothered that she's producing Indiana Jones. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what the role of the producer is. If you go into a library and pick up a book, it says nothing about creativity. It's all about like which departments they need to interact with. They need to get the heads of departments together, make sure the director knows when they step onto set that they need to speak to that character and they're going to film that then, etc., etc. Whereas some producers have a creative hand on the movie. With Kathleen Kennedy, I have no idea where it stops and starts. And I suppose we'll never know.
Matthew says Spielberg was 100% behind how good 90% of her movies are. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's when you've got to give most of the credit to the director for these movies. We're not giving all the credit to Kathleen Kennedy. We're just saying she worked on these movies, which are some of the greatest movies of all time. So, ignoring the Star Wars sequel trilogy, we probably would be saying that. And by the way, Matthew, when we started this show tonight, we did say we're not attacking you. We're not having a go at you. It's
just because it's become news.
Yeah, and we're picking these points and just I don't know, having a little bit of a pick around at them.
It's sparking a debate.
Exactly.
Which is brilliant.
Exactly. Viking at a time. That's the problem with her being at the helm of Lucasfilm as creative producer, because she doesn't have a bone of creativity in her. I'd agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. She's probably stuck her little creative finger into places it shouldn't have been, and we've got results that didn't exactly float the boat of many fans. Maybe,
I mean, I don't know her, and we don't know how much. How involved?
I don't mind just saying you're wrong about Kennedy.
Fair enough.
Fair enough too. And she's a really bad producer. I mean, you've got to as well remember what Spielberg said about Kennedy, where one of his famous lines was, "She's really good at interrupting halfway through a sentence."
Really, is that what he said?
And maybe that's the thing. She's got where she is because she's, what's the word? Tenacious, maybe. Loud. Yeah. Interrupts. Gets, the focus put on her. I don't know.
Well, number 3. Let's get on to number 3. Oh, no, sorry. Another comment.
Yeah. Even Rogue One, Tony Gilroy had to come in and salvage that movie because it was a mess. No, that's true. I mean, these are all valid points.
Remember when we were talking about Rogue One, I said, poor Gareth Edwards, someone was brought in to sort that out, and poor Gareth Edwards had to go and press the movie. What do you call it? The press junkets.
Oh, yes.
For that movie. And it's like, yeah, but everybody has heard about this guy coming in and changing everything. Because I think the early trailers, you actually see Gareth Edwards' movie, don't you?
That's true, Matt. Yeah, that's right.
What's that? Sorry, she hitched her career to Spielberg, married a super producer, and brown-nosed George Lucas. I'd brown-nosed George Lucas in a heartbeat. Without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely rather him than Kennedy.
I'd marry a super producer as well. And I'd hitch Spielberg.
So what you're saying, Matthew, is that she has no talent whatsoever. She's just riding on the coattails and standing on the shoulders of giants, which is no, I mean it's completely valid and fair point.
Yeah.
And she's also a control freak. Sorry, I missed that one at the start. Because because she's terrible as a leader, and she has no idea how to lead. She fired direct to left, right. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. So, okay, Matt, you've probably got a good point. But let's move on to number 3. And please join in the chat with this one, especially because the author of this tweet is here.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is 78 years old. So, that doesn't bother me.
Nope.
That doesn't bother me. When we've seen the photographs of him that have been leaked in the Indiana Jones gear and whatnot, yes, he looks his age, but he's not going to be portrayed at that age, because you can see there are tracking dots on him and his jacket, and even Toby Jones, who is seen in some shots with him, he's also got tracking dots.
Sure.
Which tells me they're going to de-age both characters, and then we're going to jump forward in time where the characters are playing the age they are actually at for those scenes. I did a bit of the old face app thing where you de-age yourself or whoever you've got on a photograph. I took them forward images and run them through that de-aging app, and just to see what it'd look like, and
right.
It is. I mean, geez, they're only photographs, but he looks fit, body wise, with a younger face. With a gear on. Yeah, they're obviously going to do a de-age from about here upwards, because all these dots are around his jacket here, his shoulders, and his head. So, I wouldn't worry about the sort of old man chest either. They're probably going to computerize that.
Sure. I'm just happy it's Harrison Ford returning and not somebody else.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. This is going to be the last Indiana Jones movie. I'm sure they're going to make it as good as they can. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll hold my hands up. But
sure,
and I'm trying to be optimistic as I possibly can, because that's kind of my nature, I guess. I try to see like the best in a situation. But I do, in a way, have the same sort of trepidation as Viking Out of Time in the chat, Matthew in the chat, and Brian as well, probably. That this is coming from the same studio that brought us these other things that we're not too keen on. And we've got to remember, go on, Andy. Sorry, I'm waffling.
It's all right. I was just going to say to Matt and Viking Out of Time that. My opinion don't really care. It's not that it don't count for much, but take what I say with a pinch of salt, because I'm the one of the 3 on the show that enjoyed most, and I say most in inverted commas, of what's happened since 2015, like with her taking over and it going to Disney. Because I'll quickly run through it. I like Force Awakens. I think, Matt, you do as well. It was just ruined by the next one for you. I like Last Jedi. Matt thinks it's a pile of shit. I think Rise of Skywalker is our crossover. I think it's quite embarrassing, that movie. We both like Rogue One. I think all 3 of us do.
Good on you, Brian.
Solo, I think Paddy thinks it's a pile of shit. I like it. Matt's on the fence, can take it or leave it. I think that's how it goes.
It's very forgettable for me, Solo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the closest to a Disney shill, a Disney Star Wars Kathleen Kennedy shill.
I suppose out of the 3 of us,
for sure. But yeah, Rise of Skywalker, my God, that's my Last Jedi.
And also I think, God, this is me being optimistic and also speculating, but I think they know. I've got a feeling they do know over at Lucasfilm that they fucked up. I hope they do, anyway.
Sure. Well, do you remember what Thingy said to Drunk 3PO on one of her podcasts, on his podcast? not his podcast, just a video with it. Gina Carano said they are watching, they are listening, they're aware. I think it's important to hear opinions. Sorry, I just read that. But never to impose them on others. I don't like any Disney films, but I respect everyone's. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just opinions at the end of the day. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. Everybody else.
I don't hate anybody who disagrees with me at all. You know,
I have this thing.
I enjoy debate, and I agree with most people in the chat. Anyway, sure. I'm just trying to put a different sort of shine a different light,
sure,
on what's been said in this tweet from Matthew.
Yeah.
Even though
we go
I agree with Matthew 4. On most other things.
yeah, fair enough.
You know.
So number 4, that's why I mentioned Solo before.
Yeah,
I like Solo.
Yeah, you like Solo. What other things apart from Solo has Jonathan Kasdan wrote?
I have no idea. Let's have a look.
Because I do not know.
Jonathan Kasdan, writer. It's going to be very small, this, isn't it? He was one of the writers on Dawson's Creek.
Never seen it.
Me neither. But it was a big deal. I remember a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, was that sort of American coming of age drama type thing?
Yeah. There's not many credits. Oh, he's the writer for episode 1 of the new TV series Willow, coming out next year.
In the Land of Women, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote that.
Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah. Californication TV show, never seen it.
He writes a good shower scene. This cast. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Chewie and Han?
Yeah. I think that's...
yeah.
I forgot about that. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, so all right, he's writing some of that Willow. He started production, hasn't it?
Yeah, I love that film when I was a kid. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then when I read The Hobbit, I realized kind of where it all came from. I was like, okay, bit naughty that, George. Bit
Hobbit ripoff. Yeah,
it's good though.
So he's writing some of that. Okay, with Kasdan at the time, I remember there was a bit of argument about his turning. Was it Lando? What was the term? I can't remember.
Pansexual.
That's the one.
That was just some stupid thing said in an interview.
But
no, I don't mean it was stupid. I just mean it was just a flippant comment somebody made in an interview. I think the interview just said, "Could Lando be pansexual?" And John Kasdan was like, "Sure." Like, I don't even want to think about it. It's not part of the story, so that's why it's not in there.
Lando.
And then it got blown out of proportion, and Pando Lando. Yeah.
Yeah, so but I think the thing is with these, this is the day and age we're living in at the moment, isn't it? Where there's always got to be some sort of identity placed on these characters that they never had before, which is The
thing is, for me, I don't think something should drastically change too much. Now, this is really controversial because I probably won't be able to defend this point if a writer came up to me now. But anyway, I'll say it anyway. I don't think you should be able to change a character that much if you're not the person who created that character.
Yes.
I just think the original author should have ownership on that.
Yeah.
Unless they gift it to somebody else, which is what George kind of did, but in his book he said they twisted it around, didn't they? He did have story treatments and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my opinion. That's how I feel it should be. I'm not saying that people shouldn't change characters and things like that. All I'm saying is if I was a writer of that character and it changed so much, I'm like, no, that changes my vision of them. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. True.
Also, I remember Steven Spielberg said once that somebody asked him, in your 20th anniversary of E.T. DVD, you did like some CGI changes. I think you see E.T. in the bath or something. And there's some CGI enhancements. But Steven said, The interviewer said to Stephen, "Why have you put the original cut on the second disc, which your friend George Lucas is very reluctant to do?" And he said, "Because when ET came out, that's everybody's memory of that movie, and I feel like I owe people that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow, that's a healthy way around it."
True.
Now, Stephen's quite powerful because he's really successful. Paramount may not have done that for other people. I think it's just because of how good Stephen is, or maybe he has more ownership over the movies. I don't know, but I'd like George Lucas to allow that to happen / Disney. I'd like an original cut of the original trilogy in 4K Star Wars, but that's not going to happen. But back to it, that's in line with what I was saying before about when something becomes so big. The fans, the public, I'm not saying they take ownership, but I just think they owe them something, some kind of continuity of character is what I'm getting at. There's a documentary called The People versus George Lucas.
Not seen it, but yeah.
It's really, some of the reviews of the prequels in that are quite scathing, and I don't quite agree with that. And I know you don't, Matt. You like the prequels as well. And it's more about the special editions at the beginning. Like he changed them, and people are arguing, do we own them or does George own them? And I'm like, well, it's George, he owns them.
Yeah.
So that's what. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just Matthew Cadish. Technically, Lawrence Kasdan was the original writer for Lando, and he co-wrote Solo with Jonathan. So maybe he was entitled to change Lando. Maybe.
Of course.
Yeah. It didn't change him for the better, though. That's. I think we can all agree.
I mean, for me, I just don't care about what they talked about in that interview. It just wasn't. It wasn't part of the movie, and it's not part of. It doesn't matter for the story of Lando in that movie. It may do in the future that new TV show, but in Solo, in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, it doesn't matter to me. So just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, how are they going to work that into? Because we're always being reminded that Star Wars is for kids. It's a kids show, kids movies, kids cartoons. How on earth would they work in a relationship with a droid?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's in Solo, isn't it? They have a relationship, bit of a relationship.
Well, it's kind of hinted at, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
L3 thingy me bob. I think she sort of hints. There's a WD-40.
I don't know how that fares with children. Like,
it's like just
what's the cutoff age for that sort of thing?
Just leave it out, man. It's just give us
a
Star Wars movie.
I'm not in charge of Star Wars, and I never will be, and I'm not writing it. So.
No, I mean, and they changed the whole sort of Millennium Falcon thing, didn't they, in that movie, and that kind of stuck in my craw a wee bit. It's like, I think with all the Star Wars movies that we've got so far, Rogue One is my favorite, even though I went through all those issues and problems. I think Rogue One, The Mandalorian, the ones that stand out really to me.
I think The Mandalorian's the best thing that's happened to Star Wars since Disney took over.
Yeah.
Rogue One, if you want the film version of that, it's Rogue One. Rogue One's good. I like Rogue One. I have met people who don't like it though.
Oh, there's many. There are many. And again, that's fine. I'll gladly discuss that with anybody who has a differing opinion to me without screaming the roof off. So yeah, we'll just get back to Matt's tweet and finish that off quickly, because Mangold did reply, and in a sort of snarky way, he said, "Thanks, Matt. Number one, keep making the world a better place by a better place crapping on things in the first week of production from your basement." Now, I don't think Matt does work in a basement. That's just a bit of a snark. Never seen a script by John. Nothing against him, just reality. Butterworths and I started from a blank page. And then he goes, 1 and 3 are all talented. Ignore this guy down here, Adam Lance Garcia. I really do not like that fellow. I think he's...
But it's not, like I said before, it's not bullshit.
What's that?
he's just because Mangold's replied, it doesn't mean that what Matt's put is bullshit. Everyone's entitled to put what they think.
Exactly. And there are people online saying.
In fact, if you look at Matt's thing at the side there, he does put a very good warning up there that he's going to tweet his opinions on movies and TV and entertainment and pop culture.
Yeah.
So forgive him for putting that.
It's
I just do not like Twitter. I just don't like it.
No. But I did tweet out during that sort of back and forth to sort of reply to Mangold in a sort of in a way that he'd ignore. Wasn't being rude. I just said, dude, put your phone down. It's not a good look. It's like,
so
this could backfire. It's
So
back to directing one of the
saying,
biggest movies of next year.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. We were talking before, weren't we, about well, I'm really pumped for it. That's why I mentioned, like, how do I feel about the properties that Kathleen Kennedy's been involved in, is the reason I am probably more not pessimistic, optimistic. I've been on this computer all day. The reason I'm so optimistic is probably because I'm close to being. I'm not a Disney shill, by the way. It's just what I've been called.
No, we're not shills.
I've been called a Disney shill because I liked a movie.
Definitely not shills. No.
Just because
you like The Last Jedi. You're not a shill.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't think it's the best thing ever. I just enjoyed the experience when I was in the theater.
Yeah.
But I know Star Wars is very special and it's different to people and it's not just a movie, all that. Anyway, the reason I'm so optimistic is same as Matt. It's Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones.
We like Indiana Jones. Number 2, big one for me, John Williams is returning to score it.
Yes, and it might be his final movie ever.
Could be. It could be.
So we get that one, maybe final chance to listen to Mr. Williams's score, Indiana Jones score on the big screen. Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm very up for that. And we're talking before the classic World War II era, even if it is just a small flashback, it's coming back because of the set leaks that we've seen, the train and all that stuff. So I'm very, I'm buzzing for that.
That's Indiana Jones at his best. At his best.
Last Crusade.
Yeah, exactly.
I love The Last Crusade. I'm getting proper. Me and Paddy's been talking about this as well. We're getting proper Last Crusade vibes, so we're buzzing. I'm really excited. Matt, have you froze?
Yeah.
He's still there though.
That's mine or yours.
I'm moving. You're now moving. Yeah.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah. So, Viking Out of Time says, that's what I dislike. You can't like or dislike something without weirdos getting angry and coming at you with slurs and labels. That's true.
For sure.
True. The amount of times I've been called the R word and all this on Twitter just for, giving an opinion which might be negative about a beloved Star Wars film from Disney. You get called all sorts of names and it's just like, what's wrong with you?
Well, we treat it quite healthily on this show, don't we? We all have.
We try to, don't.
But we all get on because it's not worth falling out over. I mean, it's just it'd be a really stupid thing to fall out over. But people do online, don't they? Like unsubscribe, block.
It's Twitter,
unfollow.
Isn't it? I think Twitter's probably one of the worst inventions of recent history. It's ripping the fabric of society apart. Just people at each other's throats all the time.
I remember at first it was just like really famous people on there, and then everybody wanted the verified by Twitter and stuff like that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a bit of a boomer on Twitter. I don't really know what it's about, and I don't really get involved in it.
Yeah. Well, I recommend keep it that way.
Yeah. Facebook's bad enough. Don't want Twitter as well.
Oh, I know. Yeah, so it's Nazi Germany, at least for the first 20 minutes of the film. Maybe that's what we're guessing.
I'm not pro-Nazi, by the way. That little woo was for the cartoon toy versions of the Nazis in the Last Crusade.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to see Indiana Jones punch a Nazi square in the face, don't we? Really, I mean, that's
Absolutely.
what we want to see.
Well, the thing is, in Last Crusade, they're a really good antagonist.
Yeah,
they're a great villain for him, a great adversary. So
yeah. So I mean, it looks like that there's been some more set leaks, which we might as well talk about.
Sure.
They've been shooting in Luton, down in London Village,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got a street set up, and it looks like mid-60s. So yeah, there's obviously going to be that jump, but it surprised me that it was still in the UK, this 60s scene, you know.
Yeah, it was just. Is that what was in Luton? That shot of all the 60s cars? Is that
all
what
the 60s, 50s and 60s style cars parked up down the road, and somebody
I think somebody put house. Yeah, he just walked past my house. Imagine.
Yeah, yeah, you're just having your cornflakes, you know. That's Harrison Ford?
Dressed as Indiana Jones. What?
Yeah, can you imagine? That would be awesome. So I mean, everybody's got their theories. I've been speculating online, but I think Toby Jones is playing a character that Indiana Jones is rescuing from Nazi Germany. That castle is maybe a prison.
Yep.
You know.
Careful, you could be plotting the movie out here. Should we say spoiler alert?
Spoiler alert! I don't have any.
I need to make one, don't I?
Yeah. But I've got all these things I'm not using at all.
Oh yeah, we haven't done news or anything.
I haven't done news. I haven't done anything like that. I suppose I could do this.
That works.
Yeah. So rumor, spoiler, if you like. It's a rumor.
Speculation.
So we don't know anything. It's speculation. So in reality, during the war, there was the Americans took by his own will a German scientist. Was he German? Von Braun.
I don't know.
Who ended up
learning here.
Yeah, he ended up working on the space program in America, which eventually led to the moon landing.
Sure.
And there has been speculation that Indiana Jones 5 will be involving the space race and the moon landing.
It works with the timeline, doesn't it?
It works with the timeline. I mean, I'm a bit like scratching my head, like, what does that have to do with an archaeologist?
Yes.
You know, yeah.
I might want to take the Ark to the moon and open it on the moon.
Maybe.
So that I don't know. The thing is, was it? There was a leak, wasn't there, of some artwork, which I remember Paddy saying, "I reckon that's bullshit."
Yeah, I've seen people saying it's bullshit, saying, and all those little pieces of art in this leaked image. I mean, there's like a bell-shaped thing with a Nazi, swastika on it, and all these other little depictions. But all these individual images have been found on the internet. Yeah. It's like somebody's taken them all, put them all together.
I don't. Also, that has anyone called bullshit on the title leak?
I don't know, because I've not really seen anything.
All right. Well, it's Elsa was the best enemy in Last Crusade. Absolutely.
Yeah, the double crosser.
Yeah.
She's a Nazi. How do you know? She talks in her sleep.
You know the script for Indy better than you do Star Wars.
Well, it's for me and Paddy watched it. When was it?
Okay.
Friday, I think it was last Friday. Like went to the pub for a couple of jars and
Nice.
went back to the Wally Arms and stuck Indiana Jones on.
And this is how we say goodbye in Germany. Boom.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's my favorite Indiana Jones movie. It really is. It's
brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is
I don't know
classic.
whether it's. Yeah, that's a classic. But that The Last Crusade is the only movie I watched at the cinema. What I can remember.
Yeah.
So.
I hadn't seen any of the indie films at the cinema. Not even Crystal Skull. I just waited for the Blu-ray DVD. I think.
Charming, seductive, and dangerous.
Dangerous.
You're a sight for sore eyes.
No, I can't do a Sean Connery.
Yeah. So maybe the moon landing and the Ark opening on the moon. I don't know about that, but it's all these little rumors, and we're putting it together, and the story of Von Braun might be used as a template, because obviously it's got Indiana Jones is always going to be a fantasy film, right?
Sure.
You know. So it might be loosely based on Von Braun, like a scientist being rescued for something to do with the Nazis. Maybe the Nazis don't actually go away, and they've got something to do in the 60s as well. It's like an underground.
The Nazis are on the moon.
I feel like I'm a Jeff Goldblum here with my fingers. The Nazis. Yeah. Pirate laughing.
Chaotician.
That's it.
Oh no, is he a chaos? What's he saying there? Hammond's calling him a mathematician.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he's calling him.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's annoying me.
Brian, it's Iron Sky all over again. Which I've not seen, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, Nazis on the moon.
Is it?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's Nazis on the moon, dark side of the moon. Yeah, Indy's got to go up with Neil Armstrong, and they drop him off on the dark side of the moon to fight the Nazis.
Maybe.
Sorry,
that's exactly what happens.
Can you imagine? Oh.
You never know.
I'm laughing because it sounds a bit rubbish, but anyway, you never know. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
As Dr. Malcolm says in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
And there we have it.
That is one big... And another Malcolm quote, that is one big pile of shit.
Yeah, please, I don't want to be saying that when I walk out the cinema.
That was one big pile of shit.
Nazis on the Moon, lesser known song by the Police. Yeah, Nazis on the Moon. Right. Moving on. Should we keep it with a little bit more of Indiana Jones? We'll stick with Indiana Jones and talk about this story here. I'll just share the screen.
What we got? What are we on?
We're on Karen Allen.
Yeah, we're Club Indiana Jones now.
Yeah, this is the last Indiana Jones segment we'll have on this stream, and then we'll get into a bit more Star Wars news. Okay, so Karen Allen teases Marion Ravenwood return. There's a little video of a response here, but I don't think we'll go through this. This will just be a quick thing. I mean, she's in the UK. Okay. While Indiana Jones 5 is being shot. So a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
Just a bit. Who comes to the UK for a holiday?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just trying to find the quote from. Okay, so she was asked basically, "You're going to be in the new movie," and I'm paraphrasing. And she said, "Well, the 69-year-old didn't exactly say no. In fact, her coy response could be interpreted as a tease that she will be in Indiana Jones 5. That's her on the her on the video. She's looking well.
Yeah.
She replied, "Ooh, you might. I don't know. You have to. Time will tell."
Yeah.
So
Just
there you go.
a non-answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, if she wasn't, it'd be nah. I'm just here on holiday.
Well, some people just say, remember, Ewan McGregor's been lying for like 5 years, knowing full well it was going to happen.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And he was like, I don't know. Nothing's been, nothing. Even after Harrison was like almost semi-announced that he was in The Force Awakens, he was like, let's not lose the tempo here. Talk about something else.
And he also says here, and the Marion star isn't the only one, with Salah actor John Rhys Davies possibly teasing his involvement in Indiana Jones 5 during a recent interview too.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, not Indiana Jones 2.
Run.
Yeah. What?
Oh, that film is just gone.
They'll be getting all the all of them together again, surely, for one last knees up, Mother Brown.
Matt, Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Oh God! Why did you do that?
No, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they've learned the lesson. They're like, let's just get for Indy. Have we learned our lesson? Let's just get them all back together.
Let's get them all back together, but not put them in a scene together at all, and then we'll just kill them off one by one. How's that?
Sounds brilliant to me. I think I'd enjoy that.
And
thing is, it wouldn't subvert your expectations.
The Nazis win.
Putting them together, that would subvert my expectation.
Yeah.
Are you listening, Disney? If you put them together, you'll subvert our expectations.
Subverts our expectations. Yeah. We will not be expecting that, and we'll walk out the cinema all confused and delirious.
The thing is, we need this movie. There's not been a fun action adventure film for so many years now, and I think this will do well. I think it's very fitting because everything has to be dark and just not uplifting and fun anymore. And I know.
2021 sucks, man.
I know. Not just 2021. I mean,
it's the last 5 years, isn't it? Really? And beyond.
There's nothing wrong with dark films. It's just where's my uplifting action adventure movies that I used to watch?
Yeah.
Nothing's. I've got to say, the Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, they were quite good. I enjoyed them. They lifted my spirits a bit. They didn't when I first watched them though. I didn't like Endgame at first. I think I like it retrospectively.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like after watching Last Crusade or Return of the Jedi or something like that.
Right, my screen is frozen on my end.
Yeah, you're frozen here. You're mid lean. you look like you're going to lean, and it just like your hand just stops.
Right. There. Oh, bugger! Isn't it great? Technology, internet.
So we haven't heard anything about Shia LaBeouf.
No. Thank goodness. I mean, did you like him in the last movie?
Yeah, he was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, some people were going on like with Phantom Menace with Jar Jar. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. I mean,
Shia LaBeouf wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I wish I wasn't a fan.
No.
To be honest with you, no.
I was just like, meh. Like, it's fine.
I
wasn't like, oh, that's the greatest character ever. No.
Yeah. I mean, out of all the Indiana Jones movies, I think the last one is the most disappointing.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like the first couple of scenes are pretty good. That's kind of about it, really.
We've said it. We've talked about it a few times, haven't we? Last Crusade. I don't think it's the abomination everybody thinks it is. I don't think it's great, obviously, but I don't think it's terrible. And I don't know why things can't just be all right anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched it once. It was all right. It's like, well, if I don't have I feel like some of these people who hate it, I'd like to ask them, like, is it because is it actually not that bad? Is it just because you can't do repeat viewings like Raiders and Last Crusade and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if you went into it with that expectation, I don't think it's ever going to be filled.
No, exactly. No.
I'm not saying that that's an excuse for a bad movie at all. I'm just like, Mark Hamill said that on the Force Awakens premiere. He says, if you think you're going to go back in and recapture your childhood, you set yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah,
And
we certainly did, didn't we?
He's
Yeah,
right,
a
because
lot
it
of
was
us did.
never, it's never going to happen again. You won't top Star Wars in 1977. It's not going to happen.
No, I think they tried doing that, didn't they? With the
Yeah,
Force
it didn't
Awakens.
work.
But I mean, it was. Oh, that was something I wanted to talk about actually. There's a recent interview with Mark Hamill.
Okay.
Yeah, where I don't know what the program was, some talk show in the US, and he's on screen with Mary Lou, his wife,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
and one of his dogs, of course. And she's asking him about Star Wars, and he basically says in a snarky, roundabout way, like, there's an orphan in a desert. She finds a droid. They go on this adventure, but it's a girl, so it's refreshing. He's basically saying he did exactly the same thing, but it's a girl.
Yeah.
So it's new, but yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to watch that.
I mean, I think you can read between the lines, and we all know Hamill is not a fan of the new Star Wars movies. I think we can say that with a huge amount of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But should we get onto a bit of Star Wars news?
Yeah, Star Wars time.
Yeah. So
let's go back home.
Let's go back to our comfort zone.
I know a lot of shit about this. I need Paddy here for Indeed knowledge.
Yeah.
If you want the really, really detailed stuff.
Yeah. So Disney are still pushing out Star Wars series and ideas, and the latest one is one called. Well, I think this was shown at the on stage thing, wasn't it? Star Wars Visions.
Okay.
Well, the title I think was shown. I don't think we've seen any.
Yeah.
Anything
I'm not sure what it's about though. Do you? Like at the time,
it's going to be anime.
Okay.
So that sort of Japanese style animation. So
that's
Disney,
what we got on the original Clone Wars, wasn't it? Was that Japanese animation?
It was similar. I don't think it was.
It had a really cool style though.
It wasn't strictly anime per se. It was a very unique style.
Yeah, it was cool that.
So it says Disney have been trying to find ways to bring more people back to Star Wars and find new audiences for the franchise. Their latest attempt is anime. Anime and manga are dominating the animation and comic markets in the United States as well as Japan. Disney wants to find a way to crack that market, so here comes Star Wars Visions for Disney+. Presenting all new, creative takes on the galaxy far, far away, Star Wars Visions will be a series of animated short films celebrating Star Wars through the lens of the world's best anime creators. The anthology collection will bring 10 fantastic visions from several of the leading Japanese anime studios, offering a fresh and diverse cultural perspective to Star Wars. Basically, it's an anthology of various anime storytellers telling short stories in the Star Wars universe. So if there was ever a corporate personification of "Hey there, fellow kids" meme, this could be it. Mm-hmm. Hey there, fellow kids! Yeah, that's the old skateboard over the shoulder and cap on backwards. Yeah. Now Disney is latching onto an anime con to try and drum up more excitement for their endeavor. So in comes Anime Expo Light. Anime Expo is a large anime convention held in Los Angeles. The Anime Expo Light event is a virtual event that will run from July the 3rd to the 4th. The cost will be £5. That's $5. During the online event, Disney was set to have a Star Wars panel and is now going to include this sneak peek. So Well, there you go. The rest is blah blah blah.
One minute you read that and it sounds like it says fresh perspective, and I'm like, well, that sounds like a Star Wars story that already exists. And then it said something else that suggested it was going to be new stories in the Star Wars universe. I'm like, well, which is it? I wish it was new stories in the Star Wars universe than a fresh perspective on Star Wars we've already got.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like they're going to just rehash certain scenes from Star Wars, but in an anime style. It's like Luke and Vader, but anime.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
Luke meeting Obi-Wan, but anime.
I would have suggested they
probably a lot from the sequel trilogies. Pardon?
They should have just gone off and done their own thing. Something, fill the gaps in between those things. Don't just rehash the film.
Something that article did touch on was anime is very popular in America, in the comics and obviously TV. And I think that's because a lot of fans have been burnt by comics and television and have been attracted to anime because it doesn't tend to touch on the political side of things like a lot of shows and comics do these days.
All right.
So
didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm just sending this tweet, this message here. So yeah, would that be something you're going to be interested in?
I'll give it a go. But again, I've said this many times. I don't go looking at the graphic novels and the comics and some of the games. I'm a Star Wars fan of the movies primarily.
Yeah.
I'm not that into the expanded universe too much, and that's what that would be to me. So I'm not going to be rushing to see it, but I'll probably check it out, see what they're up to.
Yeah.
Be cool to see, I guess, another artistic interpretation of Star Wars. But I do think it's worked well for the games, though. We were talking about games before, weren't we?
Yeah. What were you saying about?
So E3,
we're in E3 at the moment, aren't we? E3 territory. How long does that last for?
Usually a week, isn't it? A week or two.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything that has tickled your fancy? You think, oh, that looks good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I own an Xbox Series X, the monolith one, the big black monolith.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that. I thought you were still in the. What's the last one? That's the one I've got.
I've got the series, the One X, Xbox One X.
Yes, I think I've got that. I don't even know what my console's called.
It all gets very confusing, doesn't it? You know,
mine's the 4K black one.
Yeah, so I've got that in the bar.
Okay.
Now, and I replaced the lounge one with the new Series X. The
fridge. The
fridge, yeah, and I tell you, it looks nice. It suits the room pretty well. You know,
cool.
Biased, obviously, but
I'm gonna get one day.
Yeah. The thing that's floating my boat is nerd time is Flight Simulator.
Oh, okay.
Which is coming out next month, so you can already pre-install it, which I've done. And
pre-install games, that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So when they release, you've got them straight away.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I do that, but it takes me a week after that to actually get sat down and play it.
Yeah,
so it's a waste of time. But Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is the full name.
Yeah,
and it looks absolutely stunning. The PC I'm using right now is just not powerful enough to use it.
Yeah,
to play it. But
I remember reading the specs of Flight Simulator in PC World, like early 2000s. Like, I can't play it. You need a Pentium 2. You need 16 meg of RAM, and I don't have that. You know,
yeah,
I don't have a ×4 CD-ROM.
I know, Christ.
Those were the days.
We've really moved on in technology terms, haven't we?
Absolutely.
But yeah, the Flight Simulator. This is really going off on a tangent, but
yeah,
you can basically fly anywhere in the world, take off from any airport. the ground is rendered. It's like they're using maps, like Google Maps, but the Microsoft version, whatever that's called.
Oh, cool.
All the buildings and trees and all that 3D. A lot of the cities, they've gone in there and made them ultra high res, so you can fly past buildings in New York and they look really, really
That's
sick.
great.
And all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to jumping into that. But as far as proper games like are concerned, I'm a Halo fan, so looking forward to that.
Have you seen the trailers for Halo this week, like the multiplayer one and the campaign and stuff? Looks good, doesn't it?
It looks good. It looks good. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. What's it called? Halo.
That's a good question.
Infinity?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Google it.
I know, just Infinite.
Excuse me.
Halo Infinite. Yeah. And we're back as Master Chief.
Yeah, of course. It got to be. The last one you're playing multiple characters, weren't you?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the last game, but a lot of people weren't happy. Can't please everybody. But
Halo Reach is my favorite Halo, and
which is still one I've not actually played all the way through. I played all the actual Master Chief games, but
sure.
Yeah,
Halo Reach is good. You should check it out. The new, I installed the Master Chief collection because I didn't realize Halo Reach was in it, and Halo 4 is as well. And the 4K upgrades on Halo Reach are blown away.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're doing this on the One X, but on the Series X, sorry, Series.
That's it. I've got a One X, so you've just bought the Series X.
I've got the Series X. They're also going back and making like older games. They're boosting the frame rate, so from a 30 frame rate per second game, it's now a 60. Brilliant. And they're putting HDR in as well. So all your older games, even from the original Xbox, not the Xbox 360, the one before, and the original Xbox look even better.
That's so cool.
Frame rate's higher. You've got HDR. It's fake HDR, obviously, but it still looks good. It still looks good.
It's better than the anything's better, isn't it, than the original version?
Yeah, but E3, I've not seen any Star Wars games. What's going on?
Where is the Star Wars?
Where's the Star Wars games?
Do you know when that company who were doing the Avatar game dropped their trailer? It pans up into like a jungle and it looks a little bit like the Frostbite engine. And I thought, it's the open world Star Wars game.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
Because the people who've is it Massive? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
They're the ones doing that Avatar game. Avatar.
That looks good. I'll probably get that.
The graphics look great, but I'm not an Avatar fan.
Yeah, not a lot. Most people aren't. I speak to, and that's okay. I like it. I like Avatar. It's just. I realize it's Ferngully in space, but
Yeah. Well, for me. It's not Ferngully. I see it as it's Dances with Wolves meets Pocahontas meets the Smurfs.
Yes,
that's how I felt about it. I don't think it's not an abomination. Everyone was going mad for it, and I was like, I don't see it.
Andy, we've got a special guest in the room.
Who's our special guest?
Let me just do this. It's Brian.
Hello.
Good evening, lads. Honoured to be here. How are we all?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Welcome to the stream,
I'm
Brian.
not bad at all.
Good to have you here.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the invite.
No worries. No,
I can hear Brian's voice. I know what you sound like now.
I was told I wasn't allowed on here unless you could do a Billy Connolly impression. Is that true?
Yeah, where's Paddy? He's the best one at that out of the three of us.
Paddy gets one of those in every show, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think.
Why did he do that? Oh.
Every Scottish person is Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aye, that's right. Yeah.
What are we talking about? I missed the last couple of minutes trying to set myself up like the technological dinosaur that I am.
Right. So we've just been chatting about E3 and the lack of Star Wars games that we've seen so far.
Right.
But Andy, over to you. What's your hypothesis?
Well, the people who made the Avatar game, the one we've just been looking at, I think the studio's called Massive. It came out yesterday that they used that Pandora game, the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, as like a pitch for the Star Wars open world game. So
Yeah.
we reckon that's going to come a bit later. But EA own the license for all the Star Wars games, like Disney owns the license for the movies of the Star Wars IP, and EA are the game equivalent of that. So their live event is going to be EA Play Live, which is on the 22nd of July. So I reckon we're going to see our Star Wars there. So
Right.
I think people are expecting an announcement of Jedi Fallen Order 2, a sequel to that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, this is my wish, Battlefront 3.
Yes.
I can't see them not doing a Battlefront 3 because Battlefront 1 and 2 made a shit ton of money and it was quite popular.
And it's still popular to this day, isn't it, really? So
I love it. It's my favourite game.
I put Battlefront 2 on the other day, the original Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, running around in that was pretty funny because let's face it, the graphics are pretty shit nowadays. But again, it's frame rate boosted and it's got HDR, so it's still it looks polished on the new consoles too. So
I didn't know they'd done an upgrade on it.
No, they've not physically upgraded it. This is all like it's just a frame rate boost in the engine.
Oh, is this just like a setting?
Yeah, it does it automatically on the new Xbox. So it's
I didn't know that. That's
just
brilliant.
a frame rate boost and fake HDR. It's not like they've gone back in the game and tinkered with it. It's
okay.
Fair enough. Some sort of AI that boosts HDR.
Sounds good. Like I said, I've not used it.
Excuse me. So yeah, so we can look forward to seeing some Star Wars games in the next few days.
Probably won't go with a Squadron sequel, will they?
I hope not. If
You returned the Squadrons game, didn't you, Matt?
I did actually. Yes, I did.
Gave it back?
Yeah, I gave it back because of what we should call virtue signaling, I guess. It really
Premium wokery.
Yeah, annoyed the hell out of me, so it went back. But it's I can play it now because it's free. Well, it's not free. It's part of the Xbox Game Pass, which is like Netflix for Xbox. So you pay a subscription a month, and you've got like hundreds of games to play, and that's one of them. So yeah, I can dive back in. I have gone back in and had a go, but still, not for me. I don't think it's not like the original Rogue
Squadron
games, is it? You know, it's a lot different. So
does that have a 3D capability? That game,
the Rogue Squadron games.
VR. Forgive me.
I mean, the new one does actually, yeah. But the Xbox doesn't do VR. So if you got it on PlayStation, then yes, you can use the PlayStation VR headset to.
You guys are both very much Xbox, aren't you?
Very Xbox.
Very much so. Yeah, it's not that I've got anything against PlayStation. It's just the way the mop has flopped. If you'd.
We're kind of stuck. We're kind of stuck with Microsoft, whether we like it or not, aren't we, Matt? Because we're Halo fans. We don't really have a choice.
Well, yeah, this is true.
Like some people sit there debating, like, "Oh, this has got DDR5 RAM and this has got DDR4." I'm like, I just don't give a shit. Which one do I play Halo on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that one. So that's the basis of my decision. But there are technically differences.
And it's not only that. If I went and bought a PlayStation 5 as well, the wife would kill me.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Kill me. Yeah. So I can get one, maybe replace one, but yeah. So there we go. It's just the Xbox with me.
Yeah.
Can you afford the PS5 and the divorce? That's what you have to budget.
This is exactly right, Brian. Yes. So yeah, just stick with the Xbox and
yeah,
be happy.
Be happy, everyone.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next news segment, which is still Star Wars. And again, I've not read this. This is something that popped up on when I googled in Star Wars news. It was 3 hours old, this article at the time, so it's hot off the press, if you would like to say. So I'll just do the old So, yeah, Brian, please feel free to get involved with this discussion as we talk about Gina Carano.
Dum dum dum. Ooh.
Yes, yeah. So she's been. People have been talking about that she might be coming back for the last few weeks.
Mm.
Okay, and this rumor is not going away by the looks of it. So I'll just go through this article, and then we shall discuss. So, Gina Carano teases Star Wars comeback after being axed from The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian star Gina Carano has hinted that she might be making a return to Star Wars after unveiling a cryptic image on social media. The 39-year-old actress, who was sacked from the series earlier this year after sharing abhorrent tweets, sent fans into meltdown after she posted a mysterious image that featured 3 sons. The cryptic post saw many followers convinced that it might mean Gina is returning to Star Wars, while others shared their support with the star after she was axed by Disney. The post in question features an image of a hooded figure stood between 2 towering cliffs, while 3 yellow suns floated in the distance. Although Gina did not provide a caption related to the post, plenty of fans tried to interpret what it meant, as well as suggesting that the suns may resemble that as Tatooine. So here is the... Click on that, I should get to the image. Well, no, you can just see the suns there, but
Does look very Star Warsy.
it does look very Star Warsy. Is there any better image? I don't think there is.
Did you say there were 3 suns?
Yeah, in the actual image, I think there were 3 suns, another one possibly under this, and in between these 2 cliffs, there's a hooded figure, like Jedi-ish looking.
Oh.
Does this mean our real-life superhero is coming back to Star Wars? One fan eagerly quizzed. Hopefully you are returning to Star Wars, as the fans would love to see you back. If not, they will follow whatever you go on to do. Legend, penned another. A third added, the Sons of Tatooine? At least that's what it reminds me of. Lol. And just 4 months ago, Gina was sacked from the Star Wars series The Mandalorian after she likened the treatment of Republicans to that of Jews being persecuted by Nazis. I didn't get that from that tweet anyway, but the actress wrote on social media site, Jews are beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbours, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realise that to get to this point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbours hate them simply for being Jews. How is this any different from hating someone for their political views? Anyway, that's we've been over that sort of before. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think there's a possibility that she would be coming back to The Mandalorian?
I've just dropped that the full picture into the WhatsApp group if you want to try and pull it up, Matt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I haven't seen this.
You talk amongst yourselves while I...
It's very Star Wars.
Rooty toot.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
I would love to see her come back. Whether she does or doesn't, coming back into that environment, I think a lot of the employees at Lucasfilm made things quite difficult for her. Although I think she's the kind of person, out of anyone, who's probably going to come back and say, stuff it, I'm here, I'm back, deal with it yourselves.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her come back. I thought her character was really good. Whether it's going to be back as in Mandalorian or back in their own series, I think at this point, her own series would be unlikely. But possibly Mandalorian. What do you think?
Yeah, well, they're certainly not cancelling all her character's toys, which is kind of what they did at the beginning, right?
Right.
And I'm sure they're bringing out a Lego set with Cara Dune as a character in that Lego set. Now, I think Lego came out and said, "Oh, we're just including it because she's in the show," blah blah blah. But prior to her being fired, Disney were ordering artists to erase her from paintings and all sorts. So there seems to have been a bit of a swing back from what they wanted to happen in the first place. So I mean, although I want it to be true, whether
I think
it's
the
true,
Lego stuff might be too late to change.
yeah,
You know, at this kind of point,
probably
Lego
right.
used to take something like 5 years from initial design to bringing stuff out. Obviously, that's changed a lot more with more IPs getting involved, but I think they might be.
Yeah,
I think it might be too late.
that's true. That's true. It's probably already well in production. So there, you can see that, right?
Yep.
Right, he's very Star Warsy. Returning to the light.
If it was
And,
Star Wars, what else would it be?
Well, exactly. That's interesting. That's definitely. I mean, why would she post that? She must know that's going to get a reaction, right?
I don't necessarily agree with, you know, some of Gina Carano's politics, but to be hung out to dry for so long and just that complete cancellation thing that they seem to be very fond of doing now, I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
I'll be happy if she goes.
Yeah. I think what happened to her was pretty unfair, considering other actors from the same show had done equally similar things and nothing. You know. Yeah. So I think she, if she's asked to come back, would she go back? That's another question. You know, would she be prepared? And I think you just said, did you not, Brian, that she probably would just say, "Fuck it, I'm going back." You know,
my first thought was, you know, no chance she'd get back, but I think she's definitely got the balls to do it, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. And it depends how many friends she's got on the Mandalorian show too, I think.
Yeah.
If her and Pedro can make it up, if indeed they did fall out, which, you know, look at some of the pronoun stuff that was written between the two of them and Pedro's own situation. If those two can get together and hammer it out, I think everyone else will fall into line. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I don't actually think they ever fell out. You know, they might have had a bit of a daft laugh on the sets, but it seems people probably got offended on his behalf, like seems to be the case these days. Like people get offended on other people's behalves, and then that's how you get the mob mentality and stuff like that. But I'd like to see her back. I would.
Same.
Yeah. I
liked her character.
Yeah. Whether, like you say, whether she'll get her own show, I don't know. But you've also got to remember she signed a deal with
Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro's company, yeah, the Daily Wire, is it? Yeah. And nobody knows what she's going to be doing there. But I mean, would she be able to do both? And would the Daily Wire be happy now that she's signed with them? And yeah, I don't know.
From a geeky Star Wars point of view, it would be good if she did come back, that character, because Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, has big trust issues. And the more he's had to protect Baby Yoda, Grogu, whichever you prefer, he's had to trust people. And then those pirates who were on that ship tried to have Baby Yoda eaten, and he's just losing trust in people, etc. People try to screw him over. But he really trusts her, that character, Cara Dune.
Yeah.
So it'd be good for the character in the show if she came back as well. Because if they have to bring in another character for him to trust, I'm like, but they haven't had 2 seasons.
Work, is it?
Yeah,
exactly. It's not going to work.
They've not had 2 seasons of building up that trust.
No, that's right.
Because he doesn't trust Bo-Katan yet. He doesn't really know her.
They were building up a backstory for Gina Carano, for that character. Sorry, Cara Dune.
Yeah.
And they left it at the end of the series where she gets the badge, the sort of the Ranger, if you like.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were obviously going to go forward with a storyline just for her in possibly the new series. I don't know, if not in the Mandalorian itself. So I think this firing with a spur of the moment, knee-jerk reaction to complaints from Twitter, and I think they've regretted it almost straight away, especially with the backlash. You know,
the comments and the dislikes are still coming thick and fast on the Disney / Lucasfilm videos.
Yeah.
Surprising how long that's lasted.
It is, yeah. I mean, they're probably hoping it'll like just drift away, but yeah, it certainly isn't. That's for sure. People have got long memories, you know.
I was on YouTube a few weeks ago, and a video from Star Wars, official Star Wars, dropped, and I think I was there in like the first minute, and the first few comments and dislikes were all there. It was an instant.
Yeah. Instant, yeah. Actually, I wonder. I'm just out of curiosity. I'm going to go into the latest Star Wars video on my phone and just see what the dislike ratio is on the latest one. Let's have a look.
While you're doing that, do you remember when she got that medallion, that one with the Rebel logo on it?
Yeah.
When she actually gets given that, and when the X-wing pilot is talking to her, and he says something about Alderaan because she's from Alderaan, and he said, "I was there at Alderaan. I served during Alderaan. I'm sorry for your loss and all that." You listen carefully in the background. Music nerd here notice something. So Ludwig Göransson's doing the music, but if you listen very carefully, there's a da 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 da.
Oh yeah,
and it's the Resistance theme from
Force Awakens. The flight of the Resistance, right? Yeah.
It's just really slowed down. You don't realize it's there.
Right.
And do you know when he gets attacked by the big ice spider?
Yeah.
You hear it then when the X-wings appear as well. So, but see, I always thought, shouldn't it be because of the Rebel Alliance and it's closer to Battle of Endor than the Force Awakens?
This is true, yeah.
But I'm guessing they've got to look forward, because this is what I was saying, Matt, the other week when I was saying they are moving towards the sequels, and that's our first clue. The other thing was Snoke in the tank, wasn't it? In season 2.
That's right. Yeah.
And Grogu's theme tune is very similar to Kylo Ren's.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Oh God.
Sorry to burst your bubbles.
How do you notice these things, Andy? I mean, I don't notice it unless it hits me in the face, you know. But the subtleties are.
I don't go outside and speak to people. That's why I just thought.
I didn't see that. The latest video it's only been put up an hour.
It says Vader in it. What's that about?
So it says new Vader Immortal Art.
Oh, that's the VR game, isn't it?
Yeah. Battles that Straight of the Galaxy. So yeah, at this point in time, it's got 748 likes to 288 dislikes, and in the comments, they're still. Yeah, like 8 minutes ago. Ironically, when Disney fired Gina for her opinions, it inadvertently proved her point. Forbes. So yeah, people are still pissed, man. People are still pissed. So that video's only an hour old, and the one under that, 1.9 likes, 2.2 thousand dislikes. So,
wow,
still happening.
Still happening.
So I did see some nicer comments coming through though that was still in the vein. Like it said something. I wish more people did this. Nothing against the presenter in this video. Nothing against the new projects, but and then that stuff that we've been talking about is underneath it.
Yeah.
But fuck you. You know, nothing against the presenter, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Lucasfilm, or whatever it was.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you don't need to attack the person whose job it is to present the videos. It's nothing to do with her. She's just doing a job, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, she's pretty good at doing the job, whatever. But people are pissed at the actions of Lucasfilm or the non-actions of Lucasfilm and the way they've been treating certain fans. And it's like anything else, you know, if a massive corporation or political party or whoever treats their fans, voters badly, then the fans will take umbrage and vote with the feet, right? You know, and you've seen it happening a lot lately. So
I just wish
they need to change the ways.
I just wish the fans that were upset, even though I might not agree with them or anything, but I just wish they were less emotive and a bit more factual. Like, say, you know, that thing I just said, that's a much better way to do it, because if you don't, you give them that platform to call you whatever they want to call you.
Yeah.
And then you lose your credibility and then the argument itself.
True.
I think
Best thing you could do is to write to Lucasfilm and do it in a respectful manner. I've got a cheek saying it, considering some of the crap I've got involved in Twitter over the years. But to write to
we've all done
Lucasfilm, even as a shareholder, and say how much the parks mean to you, how much Star Wars means to you, and say that I think you're going in the wrong direction. I think if more people did that instead of just went online ranting like myself, probably get on a lot better, get a better response.
You did hear that quite recently in the Bob Chapek.
You said his name wrong, man.
In Paycheck.
Bob Paycheck.
Bob Paycheck. Yeah,
that's how you usually say
it. Where he did get called out, I think twice in the same phone call. People asking like, what's this going on about firing? He gave a non-answer at the time, like, oh, we believe in respect and all this, blah 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 blah.
He gave it a kind of Matrix-esque body swerve, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, he was prepared for that. He knew he was going to be asked, so he had a prepared answer, prepared statement.
Yeah, it was a non-answer. He wasn't actually answering the question.
Yeah, you can almost hear that.
Politician's answer.
I was just going to say, you can almost hear the political spin doctors in the background like that.
Yeah,
like prepared statement.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But I mean, surely these sort of questions and the reaction online can't be going ignored. Surely not.
No. Well, they've got people in marketing who routinely look at the internet. It's their job to see how people are taking things. Because there was this thing a few years ago of a Rise of Skywalker leak, and there was speculations going on at the time saying, I think that's them seeing how the fans are going to take it. Like purposeful leaks, and like a marketing leak to get a quick opinion off people. No. I don't know how true that was. We covered it on the show, didn't we? Do you remember?
That was one of the rumors with the possibility of Rey turning into she Skywalker, I think.
Oh yes,
was it?
Because Doomcock tore that to shreds, and embarrassing. I would have been all right with that. I mean, I'm kind of thinking after The Last Jedi that the sequel trilogy was slightly derailed. So at that point, I'm not really too bothered what they do.
Yeah.
I've been okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have salvaged it a wee bit, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. Let's talk about Doomcock, because he released a video. I don't know if you've seen his latest video, guys. He put on
George Lucas.
Yesterday, George Lucas.
I haven't seen it yet. I saw the title.
Yeah, so he's talking about George Lucas having a bit more of a say in, and a financial say in stories going forward, doing his own sort of trilogy. How likely do you think that'd be?
Very unlikely.
I would agree. Very unlikely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the stuff he does is wishful thinking. And I don't mean it sounds as if I'm dissing him there, but
no,
I can't see that.
I mean,
he got out of it 10 years ago. So
yeah.
He said 10 years ago, I don't want to be doing this into my 70s to Mark Hamill, and now he's even older, so I just can't see it.
No. So, I mean,
also, George
I'd
will never
like
forget.
To
I know, yeah, but don't forget, we've said this before, haven't we?
I know.
George will not be able to forget the shit he had to put up with during the prequels.
True.
I don't think he'd want to have to, in the latter years of his life, have to put up with that again. No. So I just can't see him doing it.
At this point, not that he needs to be vindicated, but at this point, George Lucas kind of is vindicated. I wouldn't be surprised if he just, let it go.
Yeah.
He described it as a divorce, didn't he, with the interview we did, where he called Disney white slavers.
Yeah, and I think that came after the whole stab in the back from not Bob Chapek, the other one,
Iger.
Yeah, because it was between the selling of his stuff to Disney and that interview that I think he found out that they'd completely ignored his story treatments and a vast amount of books and comics and yeah.
He called it a treasure trove, didn't he? To Catherine
that's the one, yeah. So I can understand why he was pissed, and to a degree, I could probably understand maybe that he'd want to get back in there and just fix it up a bit, but maybe that's me just wishful thinking.
I could believe that he'd think that, but I just can't see him doing it at his age.
No.
I'm not being ageist. It's just what he said before, and the shit he had to deal with on the prequels.
Yeah, I can see him working in like a sort of partnership with Filoni again, and just lending his creative mind to Filoni's stories, and Favreau's as well, because we've already seen him on set a few times, haven't we? And if he's brought on as a consultant, like properly credited,
if it hasn't happened already.
If it hasn't happened already,
I could imagine him doing that kind of role.
Yeah.
But he said to Kathleen, didn't he, in that same interview I was referring to, that he said, I don't want to be involved because I don't want to mess things up or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just, not so much mess the stories up. I didn't get that implication. It was more, it's just another spanner in the works. It's another person saying, oh, it should be like this. It should be like this. And he knows how that feels. I mean, can you imagine how George felt on the prequels? On the original trilogy, he was, he changed. I know it's not a science fiction film, it's a fantasy film, but he changed science fiction. He changed cinema, and all the fans were calling him like a god. And then Phantom Menace comes out and they all turn on him and say it was awful.
Not all.
Well, the thing is, the young people at the time, this was before the internet, he couldn't hear from them. Do you know what I mean? And then years later, Ewan McGregor said the same thing. He said people of the generations who grew up with the prequels have come to me and subsequently said they liked them. And they see him as Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of us who grew up with the original trilogy, it was Alec Guinness. So it's just different generations. But I just wish George would have listened to me when I watched the prequels, because I loved them. And I still do.
What do you think of the prequels, Brian?
So I'm trying not to be unkind. It's obvious they're not up to the same standard as the original trilogy, but I still watched them God knows how many times, and enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith still has a very special place in my heart. I know it's not the best of films in general, but it's one of these films that you would definitely take to a desert island if you had a DVD player.
That's right.
I like Revenge of the Sith.
I think they've definitely got better with time. I think these movies,
absolutely.
Whether that's a nostalgia thing or what, I don't know. But
I was like 11 when Phantom Menace came out, 11 or 12 years old, just perfect age for the prequels. So I connected with them instantly.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Yeah. I don't think the sequels will have that sort of same effect, to be honest with you. In another 10, 20 years' time, look back on the... I might be wrong, but from my perspective, I don't think so.
Don't forget what I said about the prequels. The young people who may be liking them are very quiet because they don't have Twitter profiles, they don't have Facebook, they don't shout from the rooftops about Star Wars. They just get on with their lives, I guess, which is what I actually didn't know how much the prequels are hated until after the prequels died down.
I mean, there is an indicator you can use for that. What you're saying? I mean, I think that yes,
yeah.
Toy sales when the prequels came out were still pretty good, right? For Star Wars.
Yeah.
For the sequels, not so much. At all. Nowhere near.
You struggled to buy Star Wars toys once upon a time. They were just always out of stock. But
exactly.
Now they're in baskets and bargain bins.
Yeah, kids would rather play with the Marvel toys at the time when the movies coming out. Fortnite toys or whatever. Star Wars is and
the Star Wars toys that are selling are the
Mandalorian
Star Wars,
and if out of the new batch, it's the Mandalorian. I think that was pretty popular toy wise. Baby Yoda.
Well, that's marketing genius, isn't it, Grogu?
Exactly.
It was. I remember Jon Favreau saying after the first 3 episodes aired, and Dave Filoni said, "We knew it'd be good, but we didn't think it would be a hit. We didn't think Grogu would be as big as he is."
Yeah.
Like, I remember people getting in touch with me who weren't necessarily Star Wars fans or even seen Star Wars before, and they were just enchanted with The Mandalorian. It's so good. I can't wait for more Mandalorian, but we're going to have to wait a while.
Well, they have... it was on Facebook, was it? Or something the other day. Timuera Morrison. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Timuera.
I just say Tamara Morrison.
Tamara, yeah.
I'm probably saying
Say Django. We know who you mean.
Django, yeah, there you go. He was shooting an advertisement in New Zealand, and while he's shooting it, he's advertising like his hometown of Rotorua in the North Island, which is a beautiful place. Smells though, smells of rotten eggs. It's all the sulfur.
Really?
It's all the sulfur.
Oh, okay.
So not the whole town, certain areas, but very beautiful. And he was advertising that as a vacation stay, holiday. And he's getting into his hot tub. But as he's getting in, he said, "Oh, I've just come back from the States filming 7 months of the Book of Boba Fett. 7 months." So they finished filming.
Wow. Hang on, that's out this year, isn't it? This Christmas.
It's the end of this year. So it's now in post-production.
Din Djarin might show up in Book of Boba Fett.
Maybe.
Timely. Good.
Yeah. And also Maul and all the, there's all sorts what could turn up, it's
No, it was Darth Maul can't. He's dead.
Is he dead at that point?
Yeah. Kenobi killed him before.
Because Rebels comes before that, doesn't it? Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He died when he fell down the shaft in the Phantom Menace, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand that. It's one thing I can't stand.
Yeah,
I think it's just too good a character just to leave him, so they bring him back. But for God's sake, he's not surviving that, is he?
Well, George
he might come
back coming back. George approved it.
He did, because he thought he was such a badass character. They wanted him back, didn't they? So,
and then he started saying that he was going to be the secondary antagonist. No, the main antagonist for the sequel trilogy, George. With Darth Talon, was it?
This must have been like an idea prior to the Rebels series, surely.
Must have been.
Yeah.
But George was saying his sequel trilogy was written as an outline years ago, and I'm like, come on, you didn't come up with Darth Maul till the 90s, so don't even start, George, trying to lie to me.
He's got a habit of retconning his own ideas, hasn't he?
Yeah. It does. Yeah, he's like an artist that never finishes a painting.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
It's like just got to add another little seagull up there. Or something.
What does he say? He said something during the making of Attack of the Clones. I can't even speak today. The making of Attack of the Clones. He says, like the film is taken off you. It's not released. It's taken off you or something.
Yeah,
right.
Like the deadline is the deadline, and I mean he hated Star Wars. Everybody knows this when it came out. He was so disappointed with the visual effects shots. And I think that's why I'm convinced, when he signed it over to Disney, that he said, do what you want. However, you can never release my original Star Wars cut.
Because he hates them so much.
He hates them so much. You can't look at them. However, there was a ray of hope in 2017. There was a showing of Rogue One in a big theatre, back to back with A New Hope.
All right.
However, somebody, it may have been Gareth Edwards, asked, can we have a print of the original Star Wars? So it's the theatrical prints of both films. And George approved it and went to the screening.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very, very private screening. So they showed it I imagine a 35mm print on the big screen again, the original cut.
Yeah. Oh wow!
So one of those prints exists. So because George kept saying for years they don't exist, and I'm like,
liar.
He also said we had to destroy it to make the special editions. I went, no, you didn't. You digitally copied them over. Why would you destroy them? I don't understand that.
Yeah, no. They obviously still existed. They did a screening.
And do you remember Jon Favreau was on talking about the Star Wars saga just before Rise of Skywalker came out? We talked about it on Club Star Wars. and there was this footage of the blockade runner, the very first shot of A New Hope, and the lasers looked way more vibrant, but it had the classic. The Star Destroyer almost looks white in the original cut, and that's what it looked like on that video. We were all thinking, is this that rumored 4K original cut that Gareth Edwards said does exist? Because he said that's what we used as reference for Rogue One when we needed to touch something up.
Right.
So we might get that one day, fingers crossed.
I hope we do. I really do.
He never did anything to Indiana Jones, did he? There's no special edition.
No.
Just released those movies and that was it.
Yeah, but we've got the 4K now, haven't we? So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah.
Especially
Absolutely.
Last Crusade. That's my favourite.
Yeah. So, any more thoughts? Any more?
Nearly on the 2 hour mark.
Nearly on the 2 hour mark, yeah. So, anything else to add there, Brian?
No, not really. Yeah. I did 2 live streams on the Mr. Brown show talking about Indiana Jones, and I didn't have the heart to admit to him that I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan. So I'm gonna tell you guys about it. But I was about a few hours just talking away and trying to pretend I'd seen them all. But I think the only film that I saw in the cinema for the Indiana Jones was The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But is it definitely confirmed that John Williams is working on the soundtrack for the new one?
It's confirmed, yeah.
Good stuff.
He's doing a massive tour of America and he's coming to Germany this October. He's going to Berlin to conduct Berlin Philharmonic, which is going to be phenomenal. And I doubt I'm going to get tickets. I think it's already sold out. I thought the original 1977 release existed in their collection. Yeah, there is Viking Out of Time. There is I don't have them with me, but when the DVDs came out in 2004, those silver versions, a year after that, there was a gold version that came out, and they're quite rare now. But the second disc is the original version. However, it's not the real original version. It's a letterbox version of the Laserdisc from 1993. So fans don't consider that a proper release. But that is the official best quality version you can get of the original Star Wars trilogy. However, it's in letterbox. It's not 16:9 ratio, and it looks terrible. It's got lots of ghosting on it. So a stormtrooper comes into frame, and if you pause it, you can see them like ghosting up the screen. You know, like when you're remember the early days of mouse on Windows 95, where there'd be a trail. It looks a bit like that.
Tracer.
It's like really
Tracer, the refresh rate isn't.
That's it. Yeah. So that is the only official version out there, but it's not quite the original, and it's the audio's in bad shape as well. I remember the Ben Burtt actually put a message out in an article in 2004 when the DVDs came out. Do you know the Death Star battle when it first starts and the X-Wings dive into the trench? The music is completely lost. It's just gone in that cut, and all the fans were saying, "Why have you done this? Why have you done this?" And Ben Burtt said, "It's great how much attention the fans take to this." And then in the 2011 Blu-ray, it's all back as it was.
Nice.
And I've got to say, the audio mixes that Disney have put on Disney Plus and they've released in 4K are brilliant. They are the best they've ever looked, and they're the best they've ever sounded. But I don't know. Well, there's A New Hope looks the best. I think we've talked about this on the show, because that was supervised by Fox, whereas Empire and Jedi and the prequels were done by Disney, and they're not as good.
Strange, isn't it?
I mean, the original movie looks the best.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But you were surprised also how good like Attack of the Clones looks, right?
Yeah, because
judging it was only it's a upscale.
2K upscale, that's right. Phantom Menace is also, all the prequels are 2K upscales. However, Revenge of the Sith was filmed when the digital to analog to thingy capturing was much better, so that one suffered the least. Revenge of the Sith in 4K looks pretty good. It's very corporate. Yeah, it is poor quality. Yeah, there is a fan project called there's two. There's Project 4K and there's 1977 something, And these guys are getting all these different versions of the original Star Wars to make their own 4K original cut.
Is that the Addy one guy involved in it?
I think he's involved in it, yeah. So do you know that guy got death threats? I only found this out.
What?
Do you know, because Adiwan wanted to put, he's not as interested in the restoring project. He more wants to make his own special edition of the Star Wars trilogy. So oh my God, it's Patrick O'Hare.
How you doing,
that
lad?
Clean shaven lad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why have you shaved, Paddy?
I went a little bit too close with Gina's dog grooming scissors thing.
Dog grooming.
So you just had to match it up.
I can't find mine. Fuck knows where it is. So I had to use the dog clipper ones. How's it going anyway?
All good, man. All good. How are you?
Not too bad. Do you know what I did today? I tripped up, fell over, and bought another budgie.
As you do. It's only Thursday. What's he going to do on Saturday?
Anything could happen. Anything could happen right now. How are you doing, Brian? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, not bad. Thanks for having us. As it well. I tell you, that was an awkward stream the other night. The Mr. Brown one talking about
was it
Indiana Jones? Because I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, right, if we don't say anything too bad about Mangold, then Paddy might come on. So every time they went to ask me, so what do you think, Brian? I'm like, I don't know. I don't say anything bad, but it just turned out after about 10 minutes after I sent you the message, it just turned into a complete shitstorm, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's one of them things where I understand people after, you know, all the Star Wars issues and stuff. I understand why people want to vent, but me personally, I just want to be positive about Indiana Jones because I've never had a negative. Like, I was mega positive in the build up to Crystal Skull, and it wasn't perfect, but I still get excited about watching parts of it, you know.
Yeah,
I think maybe it'd be a terrible move to try and bring some of the negativity and nastiness from the Star Wars side into another IP.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I wasn't too enamored with what Mangold said, but I can kind of understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can understand.
Really. Yeah.
I think there was a lot of people on Twitter saying the usual thing of, you know, he's bashing the fans, you know, just like Pablo and all that kind of shit. But to be honest, I didn't really. I mean, look, you know, in those situations, the best thing to do is probably walk away and not say anything. But
put your phone down.
He decided to say something and called the guy out for being a bit of a dick, which is fair enough. I think I probably would have done the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a great believer in, you know, freedom of speech and having your own opinion and all that, which is fair dues.
Well, that'll never do. That'll never do in these times.
I don't want to live in a world of, you know, cancellations and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Twitter is a place where everybody puts their opinion on, and if you know, Mangold, I think, should really have probably worded it in a different way and then put his phone down. That's, you know, maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm hoping to make the best Indiana Jones movie you've ever seen. You know, there's ways of saying things, and it'll put whoever's complaining.
Do you know?
Yeah, suppose, yeah.
You know, you can probably feel the weight of these things, though. It's like, you know, it's probably not the first time it's come up, you know, and it is something that irks me, to be honest. The ageism thing does piss me off, and it has for a long time because kind of from being a kid, you know, a younger kid, most of my heroes were, I mean, they are old guys now. They are properly old guys because they're in the 70s and 80s, a lot of them, you know, musicians and actors and stuff that I admired as a kid. But even when I was a kid, they were in the 40s or pushing 50, you know, by the time I was in school. So I've always had a bit of a anti.
Everybody grows old.
And yeah, I've always had that. And, you know, my family's much older. I've always been around older generation people. And I never kind of seen them as the butt of the joke. It's more the kind of, I'm on a level with them. more
Yeah.
than people younger than me sometimes, just because I'm so old school in my head anyway. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's that concept of, you know, like, look, my dad was 7 when World War II ended. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's you know, I'm around that a lot. So yeah, it does piss me off. So I can understand why he kind of got a bit irksome about that. I think they just use it a lot, you know. People, it's the easy joke, isn't it? Oh, Indiana Jones and the pension, you know, and the bus pass and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we heard all this last time, Crystal Skull. Like, come up with some new gags. Like, it's boring, you know.
Yeah.
I think
So
Mangold
Viking-
said this before, but it was looking as if Mangold had forgotten how to act professionally in response.
Yeah, he
Maybe,
probably had a
but
moment. He probably had a moment. You know,
people get emotional about these things, though, don't they? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in a way it does show he's passionate about the project he's working
Definitely.
on.
Yeah. And from what we've seen, you know.
I mean, I'm
Proper
genuinely excited for it. I am.
Proper excited.
You know, which I said to somebody in a reply. You know, maybe I'm setting myself up for a fall. Who knows? You know, but I will judge the movie once I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Matt, your life's not going to be over. You'll be fine.
That's right.
If the movie's bad, you'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing's going to happen.
I'm not going to burn my, you know, I'm not going to burn my fedora or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll remain.
It's not. I think the attitude to have in Indiana Jones. We said this earlier, 2 hours ago now, is the same thing I had going into the sequels with Star Wars. Is I'm like, look, Star Wars Empire and Jedi happened, and they can't be touched. The prequels came along, and I was like, these are cool. And then the sequels came along. I liked Force Awakens, etc. But I didn't go into Force Awakens thinking, oh, this is going to be as good as the original trilogy. It was never going to be.
No.
And Indiana Jones 5 is the same way. I'm still buzzing, by the way. I'm getting proper Last Crusade vibes, and I'm buzzing.
Yeah, that's why I'm buzzing. It's the Last Crusade vibes.
Yeah. I really hope I've not hit the nail on the head with a plot. You know, I want some real sort of surprising moments. And
get off Twitter.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
This is the problem.
It's not a bad way to be, to keep this kind of enthusiasm going.
Yeah.
Trending Twitter, especially, and some of the circles that we sort of move in, is to be completely black pill before something even comes out.
Yeah. I mean,
suspect it's going to be bad, or suspect our franchise isn't going to be the best, but I don't know. Keep your fingers crossed. Hope for the best.
That's right. You know, and I suppose the circles that we're sort of moving on Twitter when it comes to Lucasfilm and all that sort of stuff.
It's the negativity thing. Yeah,
it's the constant negativity.
And it gets boring. It does. That's why we tried to put a spin on it.
Yeah, it does get long in the tooth, and you should be able to at least say, you know, I don't like this, and the other. I'm disappointed with it, but you did well with that, and praise where it's due, and all this. Which, to be fair, certain people do. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he's on the level when it comes to that sort of thing. He does praise things that he thinks are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he doesn't.
But that's the way he should.
He doesn't put his kid gloves on.
You know the thing about like one side.
Mommy needs a lip balm.
Okay.
Oh, she needs a lip balm, dude.
Okay.
Hi, Luna.
I haven't. No.
So yeah, what I was saying about
I love
something Mark Hamill said. Actually, he said, you know, when you're looking at he didn't literally say this. I'm going to paraphrase it, but you know, people saying, "I hate this side, I hate these movies," and then you got people, and I hate them because they love The Last Jedi or whatever it is. Can we not find the common ground in the middle? Both of those opinions are formed from a love of that IP.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The reason people hate The Last Jedi is because they love Star Wars. Some people who like it's because they love Star Wars. I'm like, there's our commonality, guys. Can we meet here?
Yeah,
it comes from the passion that we've got for that particular IP.
You know, like I said earlier on in the stream, and generally an optimistic kind of person. I want to try and see the best in something rather than the worst. And early on, this is back in New Zealand when The Last Jedi had just released. I'd seen it. There was the backlash. Again,
What backlash?
I felt disappointed, and I sent out a tweet. I just sent out a tweet. I tagged. I think I tagged Mark Hamill in it. Actually, and it was as if like two people having a conversation in this tweet. Like person one, I liked The Last Jedi. Person two, I hated The Last Jedi. Person one, cool. Want to go for a beer? Person two, sure. You know, and Mark Hamill shared that with Ryan Johnson, and Ryan Johnson shared that as well. You know,
That's
so
cool. I didn't know that, Matt.
Yeah. Go back in my feed; it'll be there somewhere.
That's cool.
Back in time, I'll try and dig it up. But since then, the whole thing has snowballed, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
In a way, to a point where these two factions are really butting heads.
It was the Holdo maneuver, man. That
yeah, and
split
I
it down the set.
well, I mean, I'm still in the camp that I can't stand that movie. I really am.
Yeah.
I was really, really disappointed, but I don't want to be carrying that negativity on my shoulders forever. You know,
No.
I want to try and move on at some point and try and hopefully they'll start making decent stuff. You know.
Well, this was the whole thing, wasn't it? That of what we're doing here was that we found it to be quite easy. Well, no, we just got in a. I felt like it was like a. It's like a magic roundabout, but
vicious circle.
Not as cute. It was just going round and round and fuck it, oh, Last Jedi, blah blah blah, and then it was, Last Jedi, and then Last
I
Jedi.
mean, my opinion will always be
It's
my
just
opinion on that movie, but
we'll always have that. But it was just like, look, we need to move on and start talking about other shit. It's getting boring. This, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we've achieved that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of sorry, go on.
The new stuff. Like the brand new stuff that's been released on Disney Plus, I've still not caught up with, and that's pretty naughty, really.
The Bad Batch and stuff.
The Bad Batch, yeah. I've not seen the last 3 or 4 episodes.
I think I watched the first, was it 3 or 4, and kind of interest fell away. I was never a big one for those animated series, like the Clone Wars and stuff.
I'm not. I'm about the movies. Really.
Did try.
Yeah. What about you, Andy? Have you caught up with that series?
Well, I watched Clone Wars, the movie, and thought it was terrible. And then I watched the seasons when it came out, and I started getting into it. By end of season 3, I was like, okay, there's some pretty good Star Wars in here. And I've been a fan of that, Rebels, and Bad Batch since. Bad Batch isn't setting the world on fire, as Matt said before, I agree. But I'm interested enough because I'm fascinated about the era where the Republic became the Empire. That's fascinating.
I will catch up. Have you seen up to the latest episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
good? It's getting better. Yeah.
Right.
It's a pretty fertile ground for storytelling, written about there, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a little bit of rinse and repeat. There's a little bit of to go to a planet. They need to do something to get back to the ship, and then they leave, and then they go to another planet and do the same thing.
This is what I've seen as a sort of not a negative, not a negative opinion, but more of an observation of the series. It's like a carbon copy, but with different characters of the Mandalorian. Instead of Baby Yoda, you've got the young girl. Instead of the Mandalorian, you've got these characters in a ship. And it seems to be a formula they're just trying to repeat in the animation. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Do you remember what I said about, I quoted Red Letter Media once upon a time when we were talking about something similar to this? The dirty little secret. This is what Rich Evans says. Do you want to know the dirty little secret about Star Wars? It feels like this massive, vast universe, which so many things can happen, but the dirty little secret is it's not. Once you move away from stormtroopers, lightsabers, Death Star, Millennium Falcon, people don't like it. And yet, if you do that, people say it's boring and stale.
Yeah, it's
true.
a no-win situation.
It's quite hard to admit that, isn't it? But it works very, very well within tight set parameters.
Yeah, true.
People are like, oh, this don't feel like Star Wars. And then when Force Awakens comes out, they're like, oh, this is a rip-off of A New Hope. I'm so clever for working that out. I'm like, of course it was. Look at the trailers; they weren't hiding it from anyone. It's a fucking Death Star in it.
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw
it's
Starkiller
bigger.
Base for the first time?
I think we saw it on the poster, didn't we? First time. What the hell's that about?
No, so I mean, when you first saw it, what did you think? Because my heart sank.
Well-
I went, "Oh God, they're not doing
Well,
that, are they?"
I
Please.
heard, yeah. I
Pretty
heard
much.
I heard the Death Star music from A New Hope in my head,
Yeah.
and I was
I
like, okay, at least it's a planet.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't
Right.
remember. Can't remember how I felt about that.
I was sat next to you, Paddy.
Yeah, I can't remember.
We didn't say anything, did we? We were just like, okay.
I was
Just go
too
with it.
busy.
Just go with it, see what happens.
I was too busy watching Harrison Ford. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was back as Han Solo. That was good enough for me.
That was good enough for you. Yeah, and I was there for Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, and I was gutted.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Hey, do you want to see this? Look, do you want to? You know
What have you got?
Oh, it's the pen. The Ford has touched that pen.
That's the Ford pen.
Thought it was a set of dice you were going to pull down there, Paddy.
Yeah, because he was so deeply connected to those dice. All of a sudden,
They don't even look like the ones from A New Hope.
no, I did consider getting some, and then I was like, nah. I'm gonna get some. I need to get some. I need to get some boots, some indie boots.
Oh yeah.
Man, have you seen that Bradford collection thing that keeps going around? I keep getting adverts for it. You can get the best bin Han Solo jacket for like
I want it.
100,
Oh,
150 quid.
I want it.
Want. Want.
Need, want, must have.
Need, want,
Give
must
it to
have.
me.
I need to lose about 79 stone though before I try and climb into one.
Well, that
Even the indie jacket was a bit snug when I was running around the jungle before I met Harrison Ford that day. I was like, this jacket's getting smaller. Fuck.
How's the documentary going? Has anything progressed since we last spoke?
Not really.
You got an interview with Spielberg next week, haven't you?
apart with Stevie Babes. Yeah.
And John Baby.
And John Baby. Did I ever tell you the story of when
Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Darth Moose? It's so brilliant. The least likely people in the world said no to Steven Spielberg. Do you know the story?
No.
Supergrass
What?
said no to Steven Spielberg.
For what?
For what? Like a music video or something?
It's fucking. When Mick told me the story, I was just like, "What?"
Go on.
So apparently, after they'd done the first album, after they'd done Ash Coco, and obviously everyone saw the All Right video, didn't they, at the time? Huge video where they're on the bikes going around. What's it in Wales? What's it called? The little town thing, all colourful.
Oh yes,
The Prisoner. Port Merion.
Port Merion, yeah.
Port Merion. Apparently, Spielberg's young daughter saw the All Right video and said to her dad, like, "You've got to see these guys. They're brilliant. Like, obviously, because they've got the T-shirts on, haven't they, with Gaz and Mick and all that." So I think Spielberg kind of formed an opinion off the All Right video, which really, All Right is not representative of Supergrass, as we know, because they became an amazing band. Didn't make one bad record. I'm not biased. But yeah, so he said Mick was like, yeah, all of a sudden one day the phone rings and it was like, Steven Spielberg would like to meet you. I was like, what? So he wants to pitch you an idea.
Is this a wind up?
Yeah, is this Steven Spielberg? So they were just about to start recording In It for the Money. And so they flew out, the four of them flew out to LA and had a meeting with Steven Spielberg, where he pitched this idea of a TV show to them. And Mick kind of says that even though it wasn't that, it seemed like it was kind of, a new version of the Monkees almost. It was like he said we're the kind of, we were this band in it obviously we're Supergrass and whatever, but we're like going on tour on this tour bus, and the tour bus was kind of almost like a sort of TARDIS-y type thing where it's big on the inside and there's a swimming pool in it and a rehearsal room and kind of hippie trippy kind of
A
vibe.
bit like the movie Help with the houses and all.
Yeah, that kind of vibe really. And he said it was amazing to sit and listen to him talk. He said he could tell why he is who he is and how he got to who he was. He said it was just amazing to hear him pitch in a room, and his imagination and his creativity and everything. It just kind of flew out of him. But they said, at the end of the day, they heard it and they were like, he said, I think Danny was the one who was like, yeah, fuck it, let's give it a go. But I think the other three were like, look, we're in the middle of making a serious record, and this would make us Steven Spielberg's Supergrass. We wouldn't be Supergrass anymore, kind of thing,
A bit owned.
Yeah. And we're not actors really, and stuff, apart from maybe Danny would be quite good. But so they just said, it's absolutely amazing, but sorry, Stevie Babes, no, thank you.
Wow.
Amazing, eh? I'd love to have just seen a pilot episode though. If they'd just had a go at doing a pilot, I thought it would have been brilliant.
One with a little beanie on, surfboard, running to the was of water.
Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Did you know about that, Brian?
No, that's the first I've heard of that one.
Mental,
what a move.
Yeah,
great if you've done that.
Crazy.
It is a bit monkeys though, isn't it?
Yeah, it did sound like that. But Mick's a good friend of mine. They're great lads, the Supergrass lads.
Right. Cool.
Well, nothing like the Monkeys have been done since, right? That I know of. I mean, you had the Beatles making movies
probably would have been
Hard Day's Night and stuff, but
probably kind of would have hit the zeitgeist quite well in the 90s. But
yeah,
it just wasn't for them.
What goes around comes around. I'm sure another music sort of band will happen, a TV show will happen again at some point. But
yeah, I suppose the closest thing was like. It's not really a band, was it? But High School Musical, I suppose, was the last thing that
oh god,
had anything around that sort of vibe. But was that Disney?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Replicants on do it as a sort of punk sci-fi sort of.
The Replicants as recommended by Flash Gordon himself, you mean?
Yeah.
Clang, shall I drop another name?
Get some vastly different results depending on the band, wouldn't you? Imagine if you did the Doors, that'd be a dark series.
Oh jeez, what?
If it had been what?
Doors.
The Doors.
Yeah, I would have paid to see that.
Very psychedelic.
Didn't you know that Harrison Ford was a cameraman on a Doors documentary?
Yep, seen the footage. I actually mentioned that full enough the other night on Mr. Brown's.
They just kind of go through each other, don't they? In one shot. Yeah.
Well, legends.
Yeah, brilliant. I'd like to be an actual fly on the wall when they were making that.
Didn't Ford say that, I could take a good drink, but I can't keep up with these guys?
Yeah, that was what he said. I couldn't keep up with them.
Along those lines.
So they must have been hardcore, dude.
Jeepers.
So there you go. So would you talk about indie?
Yeah, we started off talking about indie. We talked about Matthew Kadish's tweet on Twitter. What was sort of all the hot news on social media? With
Matthew actually came into the chat and did a bit of a mangold himself, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, that's right.
In here.
Yeah, he did.
Have a scroll back. He kind of went a bit mental on that.
He did, and but I mean, before we started the stream,
that's the guy who was arguing with Mangold.
Yeah. Before we started the stream,
oh right, yeah.
I did state that we weren't attacking Matthew, but we're talking about it, and he was gracious enough to understand that we weren't attacking him.
I just get pissed off with Twitter. So it doesn't matter who it is who's writing something on Twitter. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Just don't like Twitter.
Yeah, even me. It really hurts when you do that.
Sorry, Matt.
Right, yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. There's a bit
No,
of
I
Ashley
mean
there,
that's fine. That's fine. I mean, on Twitter, I'm in a private chat with Kadish and a few others. You know, it's called the Triggerless, so
Mhm.
we don't get triggered.
Good.
Hopefully not. Anyway, you know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm still remaining pretty excited at the moment. They were seen shooting some kind of like a bike chase, weren't they, and stuff.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way. And then Ford was in London a couple of days ago last week, and they were filming him like on a residential street somewhere.
Is it true
Good luck.
Harrison got really pissed off a few days ago because fans were following him or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He gave him a telling off.
Did that get videoed? Is it out there?
I've not seen it. I don't think there is a video of it.
I love watching Harrison interact with the Paps in America. It's fucking great.
The thing is, like, I don't know if he's got a different attitude with it over here, but I know for a fact that, you know, obviously the press have kind of made a thing of it and gone, you know, said that he's gone ballistic and stuff like that. But I think the thing is with him is if you're in the right situation at the right time, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't like people hounding him at his hotel because that's where he's staying,
Yeah,
and he doesn't like people hounding him when he eats, I know that. Anywhere else,
the
you're
same.
probably fair game, and he'll sign. He will. But you know, they followed him. They waited outside his hotel, then followed him from his hotel to a restaurant. Then he went into the restaurant and then had his food, and then tried to get out of the back to get away from him that way. And then they followed him again. So he told him to fuck off, and I can't blame him.
yeah.
Yes, were there a couple of real fans, including like somebody who was younger in that group of people? Yes, there probably was. But I think what happened was like there was only about 8 of them or something, and I don't know if he'd already said he wasn't signing, but I think that's because he was outside his hotel, which is fair enough. That's kind of against the rules.
Yeah.
But then a pap appeared then and started papping it all as well. And then he went mental at the pap guy, not at the fans.
Yeah.
And that kind of that kind of sullied the whole thing. And then obviously the fans and the pap were then following. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole COVID thing, but I think he did actually express that he's concerned that obviously there was 8 of them. They were trying to follow him quite closely. They weren't wearing, like a couple of them weren't wearing masks and shit like that. And he's of a vulnerable, you know, he's a fit guy, isn't he? But he's technically is of that vulnerable age. He's like nearly 80.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's all just the fact that they were tackling in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think it's also kind of a bit of like keep your distance type thing. I want to get through this film without getting ill, kind of.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, you were pretty much in the right place at the right time, weren't you? And
1,000,000,000%.
yeah, and
It's
he saw you wearing that hat, the hat.
I think it was timing. It was right place, right time. He's in a good mood. You know, I'm not at his hotel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And there's only me really.
Yeah.
With one thing, and the security have seen that already. There's just me, pretty much, and a couple of guys with cameras, and they're just like they've taken the assessment probably and gone, "It's cool. Don't worry about it. You might get asked for an autograph. Okay." And there was no grumbling about it. I just asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, sure."
Fantastic.
Did it, and then, you know, I won't tell you what he said because that's got to wait for the film for that. But he was completely cool about it.
Did you get the footage of him actually signing the stuff, Paddy?
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff.
Yeah. Over the shoulder, yeah. Oh, so he comes into the frame, but like you see, you got me, the hat, and then he comes into frame in the full face with the indie gear on and the mask and signs, and there's a bit of kind of security people jostling to try and stop us filming and stuff, which kind of just makes it look better, really. But but yeah, we got the whole.
It's everything that builds up to that moment. That's great as well, isn't it? You know, is the adventure.
Oh, we got loads of great. We did go on a proper adventure. We got loads of great stuff that day.
Yeah,
just trying to sneak onto parts of the set and clambering through forests and things like that. It's going to be a fun watch. But in terms of developments, I've actually just reached out to quite a few people just to see about getting an interview. But I've reached out to an agent to get access to a couple of people, so I'm waiting to hear back from him. And then I did actually get hold of Karen's contact details.
All right.
Karen Allen's contact details, and I was going to email her, and then they announced that LFCC's been postponed.
Oh, you're joking.
Which I think we were all expecting. But
yeah, I suppose it falls into the sort of dates where we're not fully open, right?
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna email her anyway and say, I assume you're not coming over now. But
I thought she was already here.
Well, maybe she is. I don't know, you see. They're not saying whether she's in it or not, are they? But I suspect she's got something.
Well, one of the news articles went over earlier on in the stream. There's a report out where somebody asked her, are you going to be in Indy 5? And she didn't say no, per se. Yeah. She basically said, you just have to wait and find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we'll see. I'm going to email her anyway and see what happens there. And then I'm reaching out to a few other people. And I did tweet Mangold and Frank Marshall as well, but I've not heard anything yet.
They're a bit busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You tweeted them
on there.
Did you tweet them?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Can we get you to be a press junket on the film?
That would be a good idea.
How could that happen?
I want the promotional press junkets for sure. I want to be on them, and I want to be on the Prem as well. Ideally, but
you might win tickets and get lucky again.
Did I tell you about that kind of when the last time I was trying to get close to him was?
Yeah.
So, the first time I ever tried to actually meet him was in, I think it would have been 96 or 97, something like that. And somebody at one of the film fairs tipped me off and said, you can just buy tickets to a premiere. I was like, really? So yeah, just contact the actual film company that's distributing the film and ask them, and you can buy them if there's any left. I was like, really? Oh, I didn't know nothing about this. So it was Air Force One was about to come out, and so they said, I think it was Columbia TriStar maybe. So I've just literally phoned up the Columbia TriStar offices in London and got put through to someone eventually, and they said, oh yeah, it's like £17 or whatever. I was like,
what?
It's cheap.
I was like, yeah. So I bought a ticket or 2 tickets. I think I was going to meet my mate down there and go with him. I can't remember what the arrangement, because my mate was at med school down there. So bought the tickets, and I went on holiday with mum and dad. I think I was 18 by this point. It was the last time I went on holiday with mum and dad to Mallorca. So we were in Mallorca, and it was like literally, it was going to be less than a week after I'd come back from holiday, or a couple of days, that I was then going to London to the premiere of Air Force One. While I was in Mallorca, Princess Diana died, and the premiere was going to be a royal premiere. She was supposed to be attending the premiere.
Oh, right, okay.
And because she died, I got the ticket, but because she died,
Diana's ticket.
Yeah, I got a ticket. Yeah.
Cheers, Di.
So yeah, because she died, out of like a mark of respect, they cancelled the premiere basically.
Right.
And then, I kind of tuned out of that. I mean, I was still watching his movies and stuff, but I tuned out of the collecting and all of those kind of things for, through the rest of the 90s. I think by about 98, 99, I think I've kind of knocked the collecting on the head in terms of film fairs and stuff. but you know, like they'd started to not make press kits and things by that point. That all started to fall away as well. You know, the stuff that you used to be able to collect wasn't made with as much regularity anymore. So I just kind of fell out of it for a bit, and then, you know, went to uni and learned how to drink and have sex and stuff like that. And then
So you teach at uni?
that's what they taught me. Yeah.
Blimey. That was good old days, eh?
Yeah, good old days. So
It's all CRT now.
it was good times, but yeah, it wasn't until I kind of it was Crystal Skull that kind of brought me back round, and that's when I bought the hat, and then I moved back to Saddleworth, and then I was like, oh, I haven't got any one sheets, and I just splurged and bought a shitload of one sheets and stuff. I basically went from having no one sheets to having an almost complete set of Star Wars ones. What's that? Wish they taught us that. Well, they didn't teach me that. It was just a happy byproduct. You know, I just played guitar and drank, and you know, didn't have a pupil in my eye. Didn't have a pupil in my eye for 4 years. That was
guitar.
Yeah, that's where I got good. That's where I got good on the
uni.
guitar.
Is that? Yeah.
I was absolutely average when I went, and I just spent all my time in my room, just
playing with the G string,
noodling away. Yeah, plucking the G strings. But you know, it was good. It was good times. And there was a thing came up during the last lockdown, and somebody'd started like the university we were at, like a page for like 20. It was like 20 years. It's 20 years this year, so I think, since we left. So people were like posting all these, you know, disposable camera pictures and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And literally about 10 people were saying in there, like, thank fuck we didn't have any social media back then.
Oh god, yeah.
Because
it'd have been cancelled.
The shit that we got up to was just ridiculous. It was carnage.
Yeah, we looked out, didn't we, in them days without them.
Yeah,
without social media.
Yeah, good times. But cheers, Harry. Yeah, they didn't actually teach me that. I was busting my buns as a Star Wars fan all these years. You know, and I still haven't been invited to the premiere.
Yeah, who was it who said that?
Christian Harloff.
Christian Harloff,
yeah. Wow.
Christian Dushoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that day he said, am I a little butt hurt? No, I'm a lot butt hurt.
Oh dear.
Oh well. Tissue.
Right. So sadly, I'm burying my cousin tomorrow. So I've got to go and
sorry to hear that.
Thanks. I've got to I don't have to, but I'm getting up and saying kind of a few words on behalf of our part of the family. So
right,
I've got to go and tweak that now and get it together and print it out and go to bed because I'm absolutely banjaxed.
Well, the show's over, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, the show's over now. It's
show's over.
I think it's the longest stream we've done so far. By the way,
mine and Matt on our own. We nearly went to 3 hours, man. Do you remember?
Did we? It was right. Okay.
A few weeks ago, yeah.
The one we did with Dave was pretty long too.
Yeah. Okay, it's one of the longest streams we've done.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave Kennedy. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was a long one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right then. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah. So, thanks. Oh, and thank you to Brian for joining us. Special guest Brian.
Thanks for having us, lads.
Yeah, nice one, mate.
A pleasure.
Nice one, man.
Come back again.
Pleasure to have you. Yeah, do come back. You can jump in any time. And on that note, we shall say, see you next week.
Next one's on Wednesday, Harry. Cheers. Bye-bye.